What is up, guys? My name is Nick, and today I want to show you guys just some basic tips on how to get more gunfights to go in your favor, to win more gunfights, and to just stop dying so much in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, I'm going to break up this video into 3 different sections. I'm going to have the class setup section, a little bit of settings, and then we're going to go into actual gameplay tips that you should be doing in order to play this game a lot better. So to hop into the first section, my class right here, I have a bunch of loadouts pre-set up and stuff, but my top 2 are always going to be my determined loadouts. So if I come into a small map, my Jackal is probably going to be the one I run. If I come into a medium to large map, my XM4 class is probably going to be the one I want to run. And unless I'm doing camo challenges for like the Tanto or something right here, or the SOG, these are going to be my 2 main classes all the way on top. And for example, I got 8 attachments on each and every single one. So I'm going to tell you guys, when you make a class setup, don't follow the current meta. Do whatever works for you. If you're playing on larger maps, make a class that works for you. Don't follow the current meta. It might be really good for some people. It might not be good for you as well. And then I got my SMG here, which again also runs 8 attachments. So basically, that's just what I like. Now, quickly, guys, before we get into other tips, I just want to quickly say Happy New Year's. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Let's move on to some different tips. Now, another thing I'm going to recommend is perks, all right? So perks are going to be dependent on your play style. It's all going to be on how you play. Now, my wild card, obviously, it has to be Gunfighter because I am running 8 attachments. But if I were to run 5 attachments instead, what I would be using is perk Greed. And for that reason, you could run Ninja and Ghost on the exact same class, which is really good. Ninja, it means you can move more quietly. Your footsteps are less heard. This is really nice. If you don't play with a headset, you don't realize how loud your footsteps are. Ninja is going to be one that I always recommend. And then Ghost is great because you're off the radar. Engineer is pretty nice as well. You don't need to run it. I just like to run it because you can get to see enemy stuff through walls and whatnot. So I like it a lot, but you can also run Track or whatever you want. And then personally, I do not like the recon specialty, so I make sure not to run a blue perk for perk 3. So I'm running Quartermaster, which is great because I could recharge my stim shots twice as fast, and I'm using stim shots, so I could get into a gunfight, stim up, get into another gunfight, and then it'll probably be ready within a few seconds. So I could probably stim up again after the next couple of gunfights, and I'll always have a stim shot on hand ready to go. That's what I use for my class setups, and that's the 2 right there. If you guys are lazy or don't have time to unlock all the camos in Black Ops 6, check out MMOEXP. They'll do it for you. They'll get it all done, and they even have double XP tokens and double weapon XP tokens for you guys to get. Check out the link down in the description below. The next thing I'm going to say is go into your settings. I have so many videos showing you guys how to get better aim and stuff, so we're not going to talk about any of that. We're just going to go and I'm going to show you guys the movement settings that I run. So I have my tactical sprint assist set to tactical sprint assist, obviously not on or off. I have it set to tactical sprint assist, so anytime I move my left joystick all the way up, it's going to activate my sprint in game, which is good. I don't have to press down on L3. I don't have to press the joystick whatsoever. It's going to get that tactical sprint in right away, which I like because when I'm actually playing this game and I have my button layout set to custom, you guys are going to see that my jump is R3. So when I press R3, I want to be able to jump shot. And then when I press L3 instead of sprinting, I want it to be able to drop shot as well, or slide or dive or whatever I need to do. This way I never remove my thumbs off my controller, off the joysticks I should say, and I'm always aiming at enemies. I'm able to ABS, I'm able to shoot, all that kind of nice stuff because I put my tactical sprint on for when I move the joystick. So it's really good. I like this a lot. And now that we got the class setup out of the way and we got the little bit of settings that I want to show you out of the way, if you guys want other settings, I have a lot of videos to show you guys all that. Let's get into the actual tips now for how you should play this game, how you're going to play this game better, and what you need to be aware of when you're getting into gunfights, when you're running around the map and all that kind of stuff. So first off, I'm going to say you guys should be using Control Freaks, not because I'm sponsored by them, but because they are really good. They're going to help with your accuracy tremendously. You guys could use code IT'sNick12 to save yourself 12% off them. It's just going to help you guys out a lot. They're really good, and even before they sponsored me, I've always used them. They're just something that it's going to help your accuracy tremendously. So if you want to use it, go ahead and use it. Now I'm going to say you got to play the map to its advantage, and you got to use the enemies against themselves. What's the one thing people think of when playing Call of Duty? They just want kills. If they die, they rage. They just want kills. That's pretty much what Call of Duty is. You could call it a team game, whatever it is. At the end of the day, everyone's out for themselves. They just want to play better for themselves. So you got to use that against people. And by doing this, there's going to be a few tips within this one that I'm going to say. And one of them is going to be to stay towards the edge of the map. Stay away from the middle. The reason you don't want to go to the middle, there's a lot of reasons. One, you're a sitting duck in the middle. There's going to be enemies coming from all different angles, way too many angles to look at. Just not worth it in my opinion, so get away from there. But 2, if you go to an edge of the map, not only are you very well hidden from the enemies, but the enemies could only come from one little area ahead of you. Sometimes it could come beside you as well, but you don't really have many places to look at. You just got to keep your focus on one area, and that's probably where enemies are going to come out of, and you'll have the jump on them. If they're rushing you, if they're pushing you like crazy, and you're sitting in a corner, or you're sitting behind a head glitch, you're sitting behind some objects, you could drop them easily. Now, call me a camper all you want. If you're getting more, if you're winning more gunfights, you're getting more kills, you're getting more kill streaks, you're playing better. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're sitting there or not, you want to do that. And then that way the enemies, they're going to start raging. They're going to start trying to get revenge. They're going to be coming back to you. You just move a little bit within that certain area. They won't know exactly where you're at. They're going to push you again. You just drop them again and again and again. And you got to play this really smart as well. If you see that you get a lot of kills in that one area, go back towards your spawn, back to where you see a lot of your enemies are on the minimap, and then go to the other side. People are going to be pushing different areas and stuff. You just want to make sure that you're not ahead of your team on that minimap. If you're the one all the way out in the front, the enemies are going to be spawning closer to you. But if you see that there's no enemy, or there's no teammates, I should say, behind you, then you got to know that the spawn probably flipped and enemies are going to start coming behind you as well. So you got to be aware of that minimap at all times when you're playing. If you're alone in the front, enemies are probably coming in front of you. If you're alone in the back, enemies are spawning behind you. So just keep that in mind as well, and you'll start playing a lot better as well. And I always say you got to think of the minimap as driving a car. Every 10 seconds you look at that rear view mirror, you should be doing that with the minimap as well. Every 5 to 10 seconds you should be peeking that minimap. Whether you have a UAV up or not, it's going to help you guys out a lot. Now, I did speak of revenge quickly before, and I want to say also, do not be the player that seeks revenge. If you seek revenge, you're just playing with tunnel vision, and it's not worth it. You're going to be focusing on one dude, and there's going to be a lot of other guys on the enemy team still ready to drop you at any given moment. So you might be running around the map not even thinking about the other guys. You just want to get to where that guy was when he killed you, and then you're just gonna die. You're just gonna keep dying over and over and over again. So do not do that. And one last thing, in terms of gunfights, you want to get the hell out of an unwinnable gunfight. All right, if you're in a gunfight, let's say you're at long range, let's say 50 meters, and the enemy's shooting at you and you're missing your shots, he's behind a crazy head glitch, you cannot hit him, get out of there. You'll miss out on one kill, it doesn't matter, but you gotta get out of there, because you're probably gonna get him in later anyways, maybe even just a minute later, so it doesn't really matter. But just get out of there. And you also gotta play for streaks. You gotta play, even if it's just a UAV, you gotta play for streaks. And one thing I'm gonna say about streaks, you gotta run streaks that you could possibly earn. Okay, so if you're running, let's say you're the type of player who struggles to get a merciless, and no hate to you, but if you struggle to get a merciless, maybe you don't want to run something like the Hellstorm, maybe you don't want to run something like the Chopper Gunner, because they just won't work out for you. You're gonna get those maybe 1 every 20 games. Instead, if you could get like 9 kills consistently, maybe you should then run something like a UAV, an Archangel launcher, or a Napalm Strike, something like that. Even the hand cannon or the LDBR. Any of those type of kill streaks will help you. And once you start learning how to play for streaks, once you start getting these streaks consistently and thinking of getting them, even if it's just a UAV, for example, you got to get 6 kills in team deathmatch to get that UAV. You got to focus on that in game in order to do it. Well, then this way, once you start getting these consistently and you're getting every single one of your streaks every single game, it's time to move up in streaks. All right, so then you make your lowest streak something like the care package, which is 750, or the Napalm Strike, which is 850, and then you can start using the Sentry Gun, you can start using the Watchdog Helo, all that kind of stuff. And then when you consistently get those, you bring up your streaks again, and then you could run something, the lowest streak you could then run is like the Sentry Gun, and then you could also run the Interceptors, or the AGR, or anything like that, or the Strategic Bomber, the Harp, anything like that. And then once you start getting those, you're just good at the game. You'll just realize that you could get these consistently, you could get these streaks all the time, and that's just something you want to play for. So playing for streaks is really slept on. Not a lot of people think of that, but once you actually put that mindset on, once you actually start doing that, you're going to see that getting these streaks is a lot easier than it seems, and it's going to make you a much better player as well. Now, I'm going to also mention, if you're playing something like Hardpoint, or you're playing domination, you don't have to be the player that sits in the hardpoint at all times. You could do really good sitting right outside of the hardpoint, watching the enemies come your way, shooting them down, and letting your teammates collect more points. You might not be the guy collecting all the points, but you're still playing the objective if you're not letting the enemies collect any points. That's just defensively instead of offensively. So you could do that as well. It'll keep you alive a lot longer. And then if you're playing domination, capture A flag, capture B flag, Don't go for C flag. Let the enemies continue to spawn there and keep shooting them as they're trying to go for B flag. So that you could play strategically as well. You don't always have to play the objective. Some people are going to hate you for that, but it is what it is. You could just play defensively. And if you hold A and B the whole entire game, you're going to win. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel with those notifications turned on. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.